Hello everyone,
Hi.
Rahul, Soumyadeep, Karan. I think it's
Hello.
Team Radioactive.
Yes.
Big fan of Imagine Dragons. Then,
Yes.
okay. Any music lover also over here?
I am actually
Which is your favorite song of the band Imagine Dragons?
radioactive.
That was a giveaway. Ayush, that is so
Yeah.
easy. Um, so by the way, before we start, I have a question for all of you.
Sure.
What is with this background? Like this whole cloudy and is this the official NMIMS background?
No. So basically, we are fans of Harry Potter. So if you notice, this is basically Harry Potter background.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
That's the opening
And
sequence of Harry Potter.
yeah,
Yes.
and you're all trying really hard with your specs to make that happen. Rahul, you probably have the closest set of specs. None of you have a scar. So, I mean, it's a good attempt, but I think you guys have to work on that quite a bit. So,
I could have
Yeah.
probably drawn up one just right here.
yeah, you need it. I think or just use a marker and do it. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, but it wouldn't go with the formals though.
That's okay. I mean, they wore what was formals in apparently the story, right? The robes and everything. It's apparently formal attire in the wizardry world and whatnot. So, good. So the good thing is, uh, I and you are probably 15 years apart in age, but thankfully it took 10 years for J.K. Rowling to write the Harry Potter series. Therefore, you and I have both read Harry Potter, so that's interesting, right? Um, great. So I think do we have everybody, Rahul, from the team
Yes.
on
Yes.
Radioactive? Yeah,
We
you
do.
all
Yes.
here. Okay. So Ayush, I think let's take it away and let's get cracking on this.
yep, sure.
So you want us to share the screen?
No. Just give me 1 minute time.
Just give us
Sure.
2 seconds. So before Ayush pulls it up, let me just quickly highlight what we're just going to share some basic sort of rules and sort of the structure of this next hour
Okay.
with you, and yeah, then we'll start. So it's just pulling it up for you.
Sure.
Let's start.
Just do let me know when my screen is visible to everyone.
It is
Yes.
up.
It is.
So, okay, officially welcome and congratulations, for becoming the national finalist for our corporate competition You Expert. Just like what Abhishek sir mentioned, few basic rules and guidelines to take this forward. So starting with the time guidelines, obviously what we're going to start with to make you feel relaxed and comfortable, which I believe you already are as of now. We're going to start with the basic introduction of Team MBA Trek followed by Team Radioactive. You would be given a presentation time of 20 minutes. In the email it was written 15, but then we received a couple of requests. So we have, increased it to 20. Feel comfortable, to stretch your time accordingly. Post that, we will have a Q&A session of 20 minutes between the two teams. These are the general rules. First of all, as what we have already been telling you before, is stay relaxed and keep smiling. That is how you're going to deliver the best presentation you could ever. Second, as a part of this presentation, please keep your cameras on so that we can see when you're answering the question. So I believe one of you would be sharing your screens, right, and presenting the entire presentation. In case there is any network issue, maybe another person can switch over, or maybe if you want, for the same person, if you want to wait for the same person to get back and start the presentation, that is also good for good with us, no issues. The entire agenda over here is it's your time, the next 1 hour, make the best use out of it, right? And also to to help you understand on the criteria on which we would be evaluating you. So these are 5 of them. The first is obviously what this corporate competition stands for, the backbone of it, that is user experience, your flow, your definition, your designing of the entire experience that you have created. Second is your real world applicability, that is your solution should be applicable and real. It should not be hypothetical, that okay, it seems really beautiful but then it cannot be implemented, right? Third is your business understanding, and I believe it goes by default. Fourth, and again, yet another important factor is your attention to detail, your in-depth analysis of what you have done, and finally the next 40 minutes that are going to count on you, your presentation and delivery. As far as this slide is concerned, any question to the team has as of now?
No, sir.
I don't. Yeah.
No,
All
sir.
It's
clear?
it's perfect. It's perfect.
All
Yes.
clear, all clear.
Okay. So what I'll do, okay, who is going to present from your team?
I'll be presenting, sir.
Soumya.
Somadev. Yeah.
Okay. I think then I would request Abhishek sir to start with Team MBA introduction and starting with this, and then we can take this forward.
Okay, good. I don't know if you can see half my face because I think I can see the sun on my face. But good afternoon, everybody. I think wonderful to have all of you here and being part of this competition. So and first of all, congratulations. You're in the national round. Uh, we've gone through a lot of texts, like 300, 400, 500, some insane amount of texts and submissions. So you've really stood out. Couple of quick things before I give my introduction, so that please do remember today is not a process of rejection; it's a process of selection. We are wanting to select you, and as a company as well, we don't believe in rejecting people. We believe everybody is good at a lot of things. We just need to figure out what is right for us and what is right for the business, for the customers, right? So don't carry that burden on your shoulders or your head, right? I think one more thing is obviously enjoy and relax, and more importantly, think of it as a business discussion, right? It's a bunch of business folks coming together, some who have a little more experience, a little bit of gray hair, some with absolutely jet black hair. So right, so it's going to be a fun thing. Um, I think a final thing is obviously, uh, uh, you know, uh, you know, be keep yourself in time. So I usually from time to time interrupt you and say 5 minutes left, 10 minutes left, so that you have a sense of the time. Okay, so quickly my introduction. Abhishek Srivastav. Please don't call me sir. My team does, but it makes me feel very old every time. But you can call me Abhishek as well. Been an engineer just like most of us. But a different engineer. I was an environmental engineer. Also, I actually end up doing my engineering. So I spent a good 11 years in my field, in climate change and sustainability, worked across the world, studied far too much in life, um, did my master's and my MBA, started entrepreneurship too late in life. I should have started maybe when I was 26 or 27, not when I was 35. Um, and yeah, I'm a massive sports fanatic. Uh, you must understand how important this is to me that I'm not watching the match right now. I'm somehow controlling myself, right? I'm not even checking the score. But yeah, that's that. And I think been been through many interesting roles. MBA Trek has been a massive passion for the last 3 to 4 years. It's almost an obsession for me now. And yeah, I took my best career decision in May 2018, and I went full time as a CEO. And obviously I was always the founder, but yeah, I mean went full time and left my job at Apple. And yeah, absolutely love mentoring and working with young people, helping them grow their careers. Because in our country, unfortunately, even today, with all these big guys in the career space, we're still doing certifications, we're still doing online degrees, we're still doing admissions. Nobody's doing career preparation or career counseling. Nobody's truly telling young India what they're good at and what careers they are good at and how will they do well. So that's very unfortunate. There's so much money being pumped into just over educating people without actually telling them what they need to do. So um, that's something which is I hold very dear, and so does the team. So that's what we're going to change, hopefully with your help, right? Okay, cool. Go ahead, Ayush and Ayushi.
So I'm associated with Emitrek from last 4 years. I'm a business head for institute and student vertical. Worked with both B2B and B2C side of the businesses. Uh, Also into career advisory section, mentored many students. Worked as a sales professional also. as a product development associate also. So this is the beauty of working with a startup, that you get opportunities to work in different across different verticals and across different domains, right? Yeah. As a hobby, I like swimming and obviously gymming. Ayush?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ayushi. So I am Ayush. I work as a product and business development manager at MBA and I recently completed my MBA from IIM Kashipur. I happen to have completed, pursued my summer internship from MBA itself, wherein I received the full-time offer. Um, like what Ayushi said, working in a startup, leads to covering multiple roles and taking care of your learnings as well, at the best. And connecting with what Abhishek has said, I also, love mentoring and coaching people. I also had my own startup before I started pursuing my MBA. Yeah, this is more or less all about me. And Radioactive happens to be one of my favorite songs too, from the band Imagine Dragons, because I sing and play that. That is my hobby. So yeah, I love that song, and I hope the same kind of quality is being reflected in the next 40 minutes from your team. So requesting you to introduce yourself one by one now.
Okay, so I am Rahul. So I am from Kolkata. So I am a mechanical engineer, and then I went on to do 4 years because I kind of liked that job. So after that, I decided to do an MBA because I, I I kind of related more with the work my manager was doing, the kind of work like talking with clients, getting understanding the requirements, all those things. I thought I would be better at this, so that is why I kind of did an MBA. And now I am. So coming to my hobbies, I play guitar. I have been playing guitar for 15 years. I am a big music fan. I have my own band. So yeah, that is all about me.
Amandeep, you go next.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I am Shomodeep Shaha. I come from Kolkata, and unlike most of the engineers here, I am a literature graduate. I have been into professional theater since I was in class 11, and I've acted in a number of professional regional level plays too, and one play at a national level too. I did an MBA primarily because I was inspired by my father, and I always, I always felt that my communication skills and as a person I am, I would really do well in the corporate world. That's the simple reason why I did it. And coming to hobbies, I like to read, but I love to watch FC Barcelona play. I think that's one thing I'm really passionate about, staying up till 3 at night and sometimes, or even waking up at 5:30 in the morning and checking the score. It's not a good time to be a Barcelona fan, but that's what loyalty is. Karan, you go ahead.
Okay, so yeah. So hi, I'm Karan Tulsian. I am from Mumbai. I have completed my graduation as a Bachelor in Management Studies specialized in marketing. I'm a fresher and I belong to a family business background. And that's kind of what got me motivated to pursue an MBA and further help my family business in years to come. And I really like driving. And obviously, my favorite sport is F1. That's all about me.
I think just a quick thought there. So, Amandeep, the people like you are the ones who put the engineers in check, right? So, thank you so much for not doing the regular stuff. I think we must thank you for making good career decisions. So, I think good to see that. Okay, good. So I think
You.
Ayush to them. Now it's
Sure. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing my screen, and whoever is going to present, you can start sharing, and your timer will start as soon as you start with the delivery process. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay.
Somadeep, you want to share?
Is my screen visible? Yeah, my screen is visible, right?
Not yet. Yes.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Let's get going then.
Okay. A very good evening to one and all present here. So we are Team Radioactive. I am Rahul. I have with me Karan and Saumadip, as we just did. So before coming to the next slide, so before going into our presentation, I would like to briefly talk about the approach we took to tackle the case. So we realized that the best way to start would be to understand the company, its USP and its existing website, to find out the current user journeys and the value proposition. So now, being B school students ourselves, we had a lot of personal preferences regarding the user journey we might like, the pain points and the points that we would like to change. So basis, coming to the next slide, Shamati, please. Yeah, the next slide as well. Yeah, so basis our discussion, we had a short-term plan and a long-term vision for the app we had to make. Our short-term plan was to have a seamless user experience and generate awareness for the app, followed by achieving the targets that we have provided. And that included using existing features as well as introducing our new features to make MBA Trek a one-stop solution for the students and young professionals in guiding and transforming their career. Now, coming to the next slide, I would like to take you through the user journey that we have envisioned, and we have tried to give UI mocks and user journey flowcharts for the same. So starting from the point where the user downloads the application and opens the app. So the user has two choices. One is to directly go into login and register, or go through the free content. Now we have thought of a freemium model for this. After a lot of deliberation, we understood that not providing that would actually increase our bounce rate. So we thought of asking one basic question when the user opens the app. So that is, who are you? Followed by options, and then again asking them, what are you looking for? And because we realized that there must be something that on their mind, so that brought them here. So that can be multiple things, and that's why we have a checkbox. Now why did we do that? We wanted to have an interaction with the user. It's like an app is talking with them. So further going forward, based on the choices they showed, the offerings which they have, they can access a few free contents. For example, articles, first video of a series probably. And just as they consume the free content, we take them to the registration page and ask them to register. Now, upon registration, we have focused a lot on making the user dashboard perfect. Reason behind that was because all three of us felt that the website, we had to explore a lot to find certain products. It wasn't easily visible. So our idea was to not give users that pain of searching. So that helped us design the personalized dashboard. So as you can see in the UI mock given, we have broadly separated the dashboard into three sections. One is products, analysis, and experts connect. And we have segregated all our offerings in them. So now the products will basically have all the offerings which MBA Trek has based into categories and subcategories. Now let's say a user takes an assessment. Where would he go to see the analysis? So we have a separate tab for that, just to make it clutter free. In the analysis tab, you will be shown a dashboard which will basically show the overview of everything, the user's activity. And if you want to deep dive in, there are specific analysis tab beside the assessment taken. If you click on that, a PDF will be downloaded with a detailed report of the same. Now, an interesting feature we thought of here is including a progress bar, which we have shown just below the picture. So this will basically, why did we do this? So this will basically bring a spirit of competition goal, and also nudge the users to spend more time on the app, as the user gets XP based on the activity on the app. Now moving forward to the next slide. Saumadip? Saumadip, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Can you hear me, Rahul? Can you see it?
No,
Yes.
can you just move to the next slide, please?
The next one?
Yes, yes, this one. Okay, so moving forward, we have taken two user segments, basically MBA students and young professional, and tried to design their user journey. So here, what we did was, we did a primary research where we asked all our friends in B schools and also the young professionals which I have worked on with. So we asked them what are the problems they face in their MBA life journey, and in their career. So based on the reports which we got and the insights which we got, so we designed the user experience and we have elaborated that through the flowchart we have given. Now we decided to focus mainly on structuring and grouping the offerings in such a way that it becomes easy for the users to navigate through and buy our offerings and use the various content types. So we have also highlighted our USP, which you know is basically a one-stop shop for placements, internship, career planning, and industry connect. Moving ahead to the next slide. Yeah, so
Can you see the next slide?
yes. So moving ahead, we have tried to elaborate a few of the features of the content types which we were provided and also ideated a few. So firstly, the flashcards, which needs no explanation, but our advantage here is the content and the structuring and categorizing of the same, followed by assessments, which we'll provide in the flashcards. Next, coming to the checklist, again here, users can use ready-made checklists which we have made and also edit and make their own checklist and share them. So the new feature we added here, introduced here, is an option called My Notes. So which you will see in the top left side of the dashboard. So it's going to be there throughout the user journey, because we realize that nowadays there is so much information a user is facing. So it is very important for the user to actually keep important points and save the articles, save the videos, and keep it somewhere safe so that they can refer it to back as and when required. Coming on to the next slide.
Can you see the next slide, Rahul? My internet
Yes.
is lagging, I believe.
Yes, yes. So now coming to another main journey is the corporate competitions. While we realize that there are a lot of established players in the market when it comes to corporate competitions, we also found out that majority of the people do not even know how to approach a case study or even how to start. So that is the opportunity we want to tap in, and that is exactly where our expertise also lies. So we decided to start with making users competition ready through mentoring, webinars, and also one-to-one sessions. So in short term, we would want to provide a platform for B-school and college level competitions, and with a long-term goal of roping in corporates to open their competition on our platform. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Karan to take it forward.
All right. Can we have the next slide, please?
Can you see it, Karan? It's there.
Yes, now I do. All right, so we've incorporated the strengths of gamification and social media in this section of the application. So users can create their own competitions within groups with a set target of achieving certain XP, which will be reflected on their progress bar as well as the leaderboard, which will be provided in the group. Introduction of gamification will help in increasing user engagement on the application, as well as make the entire user experience fun for them. They can view the activities of their friends in the activity section. Knowledge about what their friends are up to helps them stay updated about what's the trending features and offerings on the application. Can we have the next slide, please? So a research conducted by a wellness center cell of NMIMS found out that 90% of the MBA students and ex-students acknowledge the mental stress that a course can have throughout the 2 years. Common issues that they faced included FOMO, sleepless nights, networking problems, trying to maintain a balance in mental and physical fitness. More than 95% of those respondents felt a need for mental assistance. And this is where MBA Track application will come to the rescue. A dedicated section of mental health will provide the users assistance that ranges from instant 2-minute activities to one-to-one hourly counseling sessions with the psychologists. These range of mental services will not only stand as a point of difference for the application, but also move one step closer to building a truly one-stop solution for the users. Moving on to the next section, the checkout section, which is intended to be minimal, yet provide the push factor for our users to make the final purchase. So users will be able to avail discounts by clicking on the discount button, which will show them a list of relevant discounts going on at the moment, as well as the option to redeem their coins or credits earned from the referrals. The product details can also be shared from this page to friends across applications. Moving on to the next slide, the user acquisition strategy. Now, in order to gain 1 million users within 1 year, a host of marketing activities will be carried out simultaneously throughout the period. So these strategies, they are essentially going to assist the marketing team in personally onboarding new users. So the professional counselors that are tied up with MBA Track They'll have their own unique referral codes, which will help them gain an additional 5% of the revenue generated per sale. This will act as incentives to penetrate into the market strongly through the counselors. Promotional webinars will introduce the target audience to the existing gaps that exist in the industry regarding their career and give them a few tricks on bridging the same. So these will be accompanied with a mix of SEO and SEM, both of which we identify are critical to increasing the brand's visibility online. These will later be followed by segmented social media ads and news-based applications as well, as in ads on the news-based applications. Our application will provide the users a glimpse of this treasure called the industry insights, limited to 1 to 2 as per our freemium model. While affiliate marketing and SEO, they are intended to increase the visibility and sales. The promotional seminars will allow an introductory engagement for our users and act as a point of giving them some personal touch. Free users will be attracted. Can we have the next slide, please? Free users will be attracted to the premium, to the application with the help of podcasts, a trending medium of consuming content when on the go. Two important drivers of the application registrations will be the recruiting campus ambassadors and tie-ups with B schools to register their events on our application. So campus ambassadors will additionally help get the feedback from users, which can be incorporated into our future updates. Now, all these strategies, they will be used in combinations over the year and help us achieve the mentioned new users on the application every quarter. And of these strategies, the first 2 quarters are expected to be the most marketing intensive. Moving on to the next slide. This one's a prime strategy to increase our user registrations, which was also mentioned once in the previous slides, which are the referral incentives given to existing users. So these users will earn 50 coins or credits upon every registration done by a new user with his or her referral code. And the same can be used to avail discounts up to a predefined limit per product based on the MRP. Over to you, Shamadi.
Right. So thank you, Karan and Rahul. I will now go over part 2 of our presentation, that is analyzing 3 important products that MBA Trek has offered us: Interview Booster, the Internship Exit Assessment, and the Industry Suggester, and some of the problems or the user issues that we encountered while encountering the same. So the few things that we encountered is that most of the assessment forms are MCQ oriented and they're static in nature. So here the user gets the impression that this is a generic Google form or something similar to it, thereby creating a negative price value correlation in their mind, irrespective of whether it being true or not being true, right? Moreover, they are very structure heavy, especially in the Interview Booster, instead of having candidate specific and context specific content. This can be improved by introducing other formats such as text-based answering to understand the content depth of the interviewee or the assessee taking the assessment. Asynchronous video interviews to actually see what the candidate can really translate what they write into words and structure it into in-person expression. One of the things that we noticed in especially the interview suggester was the fact that we could ideally convert the static form assessment into a gamified version, right? So harping into the gamified region will really help improve the interactivity or the user experience of the assessment. Now, one thing we faced in the internship exit assessment was the landing page seems to be cluttered with a lot of different details, however important or not important they may be. And that distracts the user. So therefore, the finished page should only be about the candidate with minimal design and most emphasis on their assessment and feedback. Talking about feedback, the Interview Booster, we were given a score on 3 parameters, and the score was just a score. I did not get a comprehensive feedback on it. As a candidate who is spending the requisite amount of money on the product, I would like to get some comprehensive feedback in the form of PDF in the analysis tab, which has been showed by Rahul previously in the presentation. Especially in the industry suggester, we can especially have certain insights about the work experience that the candidate has had priorly. Understanding the previous work experience of the candidate or where the candidate comes from will help the industry suggester to better suggest an industry for the person instead of having a predetermined set of questions. This can be selected through dynamic responses where the answer responses of the candidate indicate the next question that he or she is going to be asked. Now coming to the monetization model, which I'll be talking about very quickly. I'll just take you through the monetization model. Our target is to get $1 million worth of revenue within 12 months, which is roughly translates to around 7.3 crores for us. The two main ways in which we will...
Amandeep, sorry to interrupt you. We have last 5 minutes for the team.
Okay, thank you, sir. So continuing forward, two important sources of revenue for the company will be its freemium model and its subscription model, right? So the freemium model is basically to ensure that no user is turned away, because if we actually ask people to register at the first moment we interact with them, there are high chances that our bounce rates will increase. So rather, it is important to give them some amount of free content as a bait, which they actually interact with. They see the value that MBA Trek offers, and they take it ahead by actually subscribing to certain products or offerings, which standalone products or offerings, which can be subscribed after they have consumed the free content. So that comes from the freemium model. So subscription as a service, they bundle subscription as a service, the set of products, the intern Go and such products can be or can also be marketed. And these products, provided their value is increased in terms of the user customer perceived value, there will be a robust subscription model, which is more or less explicated specifically in this tabular form that we have given. We have estimated an average revenue per user of around 6,000 rupees, right? And over here you can see that we have taken churn rate into account, we have taken new trials into account, and we have also created a new users who sign up every month, while also taking into account the number of users that we leave every month, thereby creating a number of cumulative customers active and creating a revenue on the basis of that. Other forms of revenue include in-app advertising, right? So the in-app advertising primarily comes from those customers who are consuming free content because they are served in-app ads, whereas for subscribed consumers who are not consuming free content, we have the ad blocker service from where they don't consume ads. And for the last slide, I would like to hand it over to Karan to take it over.
Right. So to create an initial buzz, we intend to push the campus ambassador programs right from the start. We'll further invite the loyal B School students to attend the launch program. Attendees will be offered with special discount codes for certain courses on the application as early bird offers. These students will further be incentivized by inviting articles and blogs on relevant topics. The application shall be inaugurated by industry experts, heavy advertisements across Google and social media applications, promotions of application downloads through campus ambassadors, and referral marketing. All of these will help create a buzz about the application during the period. In order to ensure we provide the best possible experience to our users, we'll extensively seek feedback, application reviews through in-app notifications, as well as the ambassador programs. Enhancement of the experience will go beyond these 12 months as we intend to expand further towards schools and students, enlightening them about the career prospects that stand before them. As people become more and more conscious about their career choices right from a young age, mentoring these young minds becomes more essential to the vision of MBA Trek, making people industry ready. The application can further provide campus recruitment opportunities for students by tying up with corporates and conducting the process on its platform. To conclude, as students partly unaware of our own career choices and interests, we strongly resonate with the need to provide people with clarity and guidance for the same. This competition provided us with the opportunity to identify ways of nurturing the career life of people across the country. And so, we believe that our proposal will indeed become the wholesome guide that's long awaited in the market. Thank you so much for your time, judges. This is Team Radioactive. We are now open to questions.
So thank you. Well done. Well timed. I think right on time, Ayush. Literally
yes, sir,
right
18
on
minutes,
time.
30 seconds. Yeah.
Yes, 80 minutes, 13 seconds. So well done. I don't know if you've practiced that, but so well done. I think very nicely done. I think we're good for questions. So Ayush, whoever wants to start, I have a few set of questions, but I'll let you all go first. So go ahead.
So from my end, so you all talked a lot about freemium service, right? Wherein we'll be giving up the free services or maybe, free set of enrollment to the users who are coming up. So what would be the strategy behind? So like, for example, what should be the duration of this freemium, service, or, after how long time this paid version should start?
So if I can take that. So basically, our idea for the freemium model was basically to make people get onto the app and register the app. Okay, so for example, so let's say we give one assessment for the user. So the user can take that assessment, but they won't be given the analysis. So for like getting the analysis, they will have to register. So this was our whole idea of giving the freemium model, because so we have actually faced this. So let's say, for example, we use a lot of Harvard case studies for in the paucity of time, what we need to do is we kind of find solutions for those Harvard case studies. So what we face is that if we go to the Harvard site, they will show a bit of the analysis and then they will block the rest. So in the paucity of time, what we do is we register for that. So this was our whole mentality in choosing the freemium model.
So, ma'am, if I may explain it further, right? So, let me take an example of somebody similar in the industry, or at least who deals with MBA students inside IIM, for example, which exists. What they do is that they give 3 free articles to every user who comes to their site. They see those free articles, and once the user has established in those 3 articles that the product is good, that what they're offering is good, the user will be forced or will be compelled or motivated to actually sign up for a minimal fee or whatever that is, right? Or take a subscription. So that is exactly the thing that we want to bring to MBA Trek, where MBA Trek perhaps offers them a free article, a free video, a free assessment without divulging the entirety of the product or the offering. Thereby, by the time the consumer has lived through the experience of the product, once they've lived through it and they see great value in it and they want to engage more with it, at that point, they are motivated to sign up after they have been through the experience. So it's like giving them an experience and then asking them to sign up, which we believe will happen because the product is going to be built in a very robust manner.
So, ma'am, just to speak of the timeline of how long this freemium model will continue till, we plan to keep this going on till the end, because these are essentially users that wouldn't have otherwise purchased the packages had it not been for the freemium model. What essentially attracts them to the website or the application is the free content that we provide them.
Okay. My second thing is regarding the assessment. So somebody told that, the assessments, basically it looks like, a lot of MCQs are there, right? Like it looks like a simple Google form. So what would you suggest? And I think Karan, you told of replacing it with some text-based questions or something. So like,
no, I was the one who worded it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Soumyadeep, so how is basically text-based question different from the MCQs question, or how can we improve that user interface for the assessments?
Ma'am, I look at it very simply. For example, I see a lot of people in my B school who perhaps can't put sentences together at the interview, or perhaps they can't speak very fluently or write very fluently. And these are very essential skills at an interview, to put a sentence together, to structure it together, for your content to come out. When you're giving them MCQs, so in their minds, they know what the answer is, but it's just that they can't come out. And that is an important factor. So when you're giving them the MCQs, what is essentially happening is, even though they know what the right answer is, and you're basically spoon feeding them the answer, you're spoon feeding them the structure or the content of it. If you give them a text-based question, you will probably get an insight into how that candidate is thinking, how they are structuring their answer, what kind of content they're engaging with, and you will get a context specific content as to what content is coming from that candidate specifically. Point 1. Point 2, ma'am, one of the things which I specifically underwent at a particular B school interview was something called an asynchronous video interview, or even in certain summer internship assessments that we had, where basically they just give you a question. You have 1 minute to speak. Maybe you have 1 take, maybe you have 2 takes, but you have to basically answer that question in 1 minute on spot in front of the camera. So that would probably help you look at the body language or the facial language of the person. It would help you see how the person is enunciating. And again, we can't deny the fact that enunciation and how you come across as a person has great importance in an interview. So this asynchronous video interview and text-based questions, we believe, would be of great help. Coming to the Google form aspect of it, ma'am, while the interview might add a lot of value, even if there isn't, let's say, a very like we said, the gamified version or a more interactive version, like it's a difference between a type form and a Google form. So if you have something a more type formish, where one question flashes, you answer it, and then a nice animation, a nice simplistic animation, and the next question comes in, I feel the user will be more satisfied doing the actually taking that kind of assessment.
And also, I just continuing from that, so what I did was I took the exit internship. so internship assessment. So while I launched it, I saw all the questions. So my first instinct was to not go by the question, first question, then the second question. I saw all the questions. I knew all the options which I had. So that kind of has this impact on my head. If I answer this, I'm going to get this. Even there was this thing that where it was dynamic, I know, based on certain choices which we did, but so I can change it. So I just took one option, I saw what is changing. I took another option, I saw what is changing. So we should not, I think we should not give that option. We should give one question at a time. Let the interviewee answer that question, then go to the next question.
Okay. Last question from my end. So putting one question at a time, right? Don't you think that, you know, it would irritate a user that, you know, basically it will take more time. So for example, right now, if it is taking 20 minutes, then it will take, you know, around 25 minutes or 30 minutes to complete this, you know, whole journey. And then every time the user wants to click next to you know, review the next question. So will that be a great user experience?
Ma'am, from the pricing point of view, I felt it will be, because when I am paying 1,500 for an assessment, I would probably want some user experience for it, because if I am given a Google form and I'm feeling, I'm just feeling that I kind of had that notion that it's not worth it. It's not worth the money which I'm paying. So if we give like an experience, if one question at a time, if I am spending 1,500 for an assessment, I am willing to spend 1 hour for that assessment. I think I'm willing to pay that and also like give 1 hour for that assessment. So I think that part comes in, is very important if you go with that.
So ma'am, basically what he's saying is, if we are paying 1,500, I don't think the candidate is in a hurry to, let's say, complete it in 20 odd minutes. That person has evaluated the fact that they want to buy an assessment for 1,500 rupees. They probably the opportunity have considered the opportunity cost of that. And therefore, just a little next button here and there, well, it's for the value of the candidate, I believe. We believe now.
Okay. I am done. Sir and Ayush.
Ayush, you want to go ahead first?
Yes, sir, I can. So can I ask, you know, can I request you to share your screen once again, if that is possible?
Which slide would you like me to go to, sir?
The first one, I believe.
This one, sir?
Yeah, the next one. Okay, I think this would go. See, in the first few slides, what you have mentioned on every slide is what is our USP, right? And just, I would take a feedback over here. Just tell me if I'm right or wrong, given, you know, your presentation. Do you think customization is something which you have considered as one of the USPs? Because you have used the word personalized, you have used the word, you know, something like that. So do you think customization is the USP that we have over here?
Okay, so
a customized experience, is that what we are going to provide to the users? That is what my question is.
It's kind of a personalized experience per se. So basically what I try to mean by that is, so when I am going into my dashboard, it's my personal dashboard. It's going to be different from someone else's. It's like, it is going to be my...
Yeah, totally agree with you. Yeah. So in the previous slide, you had given an option for the users that what are you looking for? Yeah. So can you please, you know, provide us with 2 or 3 examples? Suppose if I'm a user, I download this Android application. What exactly would I be, you know, selecting or, you know, seeing as one of these options over here?
Okay, so we have actually given a few options there. So let's say I am a user. So I open the app, I just pops up, a screen pops up, which says, who are you? So I click, because I'm an MBA student, I click on MBA student. I go to the next screen. It shows me what are you looking for. So there are certain options there. So let's say I want to look for, I have my placements nearby. So I want to look for placement support and probably internship support. So I click on both of those options. As soon as I click on those, there will be a new window which will open. That window will show basically the free content which we are providing based on those options. And also there will be a registration link there, as in the registration sign will be there. So we can access the free content from there and then register, or directly register and get the free content. That was our whole idea.
So you said to give you a little example of what we would actually be giving the person. So I think here's where MBA Trek's core value proposition comes into play, is because let's say one dilemma we have seen in B schools is that anybody and everybody, no matter the profile, they are always very confused, let's say, about the industry they would want to go in, right? They would, whether they want to sit for FMCG, whether they want to sit for something IT, whether they want to sit for something, let's say, auto manufacturing, gas, or startups, right? So over here, suppose you're going to you're supposed to click on placement support, which is basically the user can select multiple content, like in the flowchart. You get some free content. You probably give them something like, okay, or let's say a talk or a recorded session, a part of a recorded session or a recorded video on how to judge what is the right industry for you, or perhaps something along the lines of what are the few important do's and don'ts during a group discussion. A small video on that, not the complete content, but a small part of that. So that these are the different things we can give under the placement vertical. So suppose somebody goes under the internship support.
Yeah, I got you. So, and I think that is totally okay. The point that I want to make here is taking your example, only of about placement and internship. So when we talk about customized, I think all 6 of us as a users are totally different from each other. What placement and what internship might mean to you might not mean the same to me.
Yes.
More or less, I come from the education industry background of work experience. Maybe someone who has come from an automobile industry or BFSI sector, they would be looking for eventually a different content. The point that I want to make over here is this journey is absolutely beautiful. But I think what could have been improved over here is taking few other metrics also into consideration after who are you? I mean, in the segment of who are you? If you happen to, if you have done your graduation in engineering or some other course, if you have prior experience in some XYZ industry, accordingly, what is the different content type that I can provide? Because even if, something is available to me at free of cost and I do not resonate with it, I will really not connect with it. So that is the first thing. Eventually this whole thing, is good, but the metric that will differentiate each one of us, from every other user is something maybe that, that we can take more in depth. Can you also go to the slide of, the chart that you had created about customer acquisition?
So just can I just say one thing to that, what you just said. So we considered that. So we considered actually putting another screen, going deep diving into what that person is wanting. But then we stopped just because there are 2 reasons. Firstly, it was that we realized that a lot of people are confused. In B school, a lot of people are confused. Let's say for myself as well. So when I joined a B school, I was confused which field to join, because I had a work experience. I wanted to go into marketing, but I also had a knack towards consulting. So I was confused. So like me, there are a lot of people who are confused. So we did not want to restrict them to those choices. So we thought that they might get irritated and then just delete the app. So just to not to face that problem, I think we went ahead with
we agree with you completely on that. And I think what is really reflected in our presentation is the fact that it has been a little MBA or B school student heavy, primarily because 2 of the members in this team are freshers. We did not have that kind of insight on, let's say, other young professionals or what kind of specific content, customized content they would require. So definitely, sir, what you said can definitely be factored in, and it's something which is something to keep in mind, sir.
I just have, one important question over here. Based on this, a customer acquisition model that you have created, I will not really go to the strategic part. This is the basically number crunching, I would say, right? That you are talking about almost 80 to 100% new customer acquisition every quarter, right? Now, the reason that I've asked you to look at this particular slide is because if you go to the monetization model, can you go to that slide wherein there is a table over there? Yeah. So if you see, you have increased the new trials every month, starting from 15th of January to December 21. You have increased the number of trials, right? But as an MBA student, I think you are the best, customers to understand the point that I'm going to make, that the audience would be more or less, acquisition would be taking place at the center or at the middle of the year. rather than a linear growth during the entire year, right? You would be looking for a placement opportunity not in the months of maybe February or March, or in the April or May, but in the months of September, October, or November, maybe even August, right? So I think the market is not linear in nature or uniform in nature. The market is very much seasonal in nature, right? So that factor is also I think this is really a great work, but I'm just giving you the points on which this thing can be improved, right?
Definitely so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely. I
Definitely,
think
sir.
this
We
seasonal
we
thing needs to be
actually,
taken into
yeah,
consideration.
we actually miss the seasonality, but yeah, I think this can be improved.
So also because I think one of the reasons, so while you said, yeah, the B school is seasonal, what we expected was this MBA track as what differentiates it from, let's say, career launcher, or let's say an inside IIM or a dare to compete and all the others, is the fact that it is not just for MBA student, it is for everyone. So here our approach was a little towards everyone, and that's why maybe we have gone for a more linear approach and not B school specific cyclical approach. But I completely get what you're saying. The seasonality has to be factored in, definitely.
Otherwise, it looks good to me. Over to you, sir.
I have a slightly contrary viewpoint on that. I think it's very brave of you not, and I don't know if it's brave or maybe you just missed the seasonality. But the reality is, for an edtech company, you have to be always on. So maybe, I'm looking at my team and myself. Maybe that's a little bit of mindset change we also need to bring in. We have to be always on, and with our actual real app coming soon, very soon, and I think we should actually make the team here our beta users, or the special test group. Um, we have to be always on. So I think this is a good point. Um, and I think one question to you is, what can you do? And maybe this is actually outside your presentation, to be an always on app for students, the always on career counseling, career selection preparation app for students. How do we make the discussion beyond placements? Because then, or is it still around placements, but it's a almost 24-month journey now, right? I think that's one thing. And maybe I think, don't answer it right now, think about it and maybe answer it right at the end. So I have a couple of other questions. If you can go back to your, so go back to the graph, please, for 1 second. Yeah. So is this total number of users, or this cumulate? So this is users in each quarter, or this is cumulative?
So these are new users
You,
acquired in every
okay,
quarter.
okay. Then it's fine. Then it basically adds up to 1 million, because what I was reading, and maybe I was wrong, is reading 500,000 and then I saw 1 million later, right? So that's okay. I think the build-up is fine. Um, you did mention ads.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes, sir, we did.
I have a question for you, right? We are fundamentally, this is a UI UX competition, right? Now, do you fundamentally believe, for a company which is actually has its own products and services, is running ads a great idea? Because, so for example, let me take a slightly old edtech example, my time, company called Careers 360, right? So Careers 360 used to give you information and gyan about campuses and degrees and size of batch and cutoff scores and whatnot, and all those funny things. And it used to look like a crazy website. It was like in the middle of ads, you have to actually find the functionality. It's just ads, right? And you have to find like, oh, there's the search button. Okay, that's where I write what I have to write. But that's fine, because and most people will give it to Careers 360 TKR. It's okay. I mean, you're giving me all this free information. You have no product. Okay, fine. MBA Track, or the app will have all these kind of products and services and everything. Do you think ads is a good idea?
Sir, I would like to take that question because I mentioned ads
Okay.
particularly. So the reason, I'll tell you the reason why we included ads. You're not particularly keen on it, like you said, because it compromises on the user journey or the user experience itself. I wouldn't like to be bombarded with ads, especially it's kind of a little anticlimactic, because MBA Tech claims to offer superior upskilling services while ideally advertising others on the platform who might be similar at tech or course offering platforms, right? So the situation here is, sir, is that we had to consider a trade-off, because there was no way, while doing our revenue projections, I'll be honest with you, sir, there was no way we were reaching the designated target of the monetization model unless we factored in some additional lump sum source of revenue, which would have not otherwise come from ads. So had this been solely about the user journey for us, sir, had this been solely about the UI UX, perhaps we would not have gone with the ad idea. And and if you just speak to us as beta testers or users of your ads in the future, of your app in the future, we wouldn't like ads. But that being said, sir, there was no other way that we could come up with, at least in that short span of time, in which that ad revenue or that deficit in the revenue could be filled. So to answer your question, we don't think that's a good idea, but we had to consider a trade-off to balance all sides. That's the approach that we took. And of course, Rahul and Karan will have their inputs on this.
So one point that I'd like to mention is that, like you said, Career 360, the way they put up their ads, it's very much annoying. And that's precisely the way we do not intend to have our ads positioned in the application. Just for an example, I'd like to draw a parallel over here. Spotify application, you have it for free. At least initially when the application was launched, you had, I think, not more than 20-second advertisement. They have now extended it to 30. And people still use it. It's still being used in India because of the quality that it provides and the extent to which the advertisements are available, put up on the application. It's a similar thing that we intend to do over here, wherein most of our advertisements, they are not bombarded to you directly on the face. One way of the advertisements, a major part of our advertisements consist of the ones that will be depicted or rather put up by the cells or organizations who have their competitions registered on the application. So that's precisely the agenda.
And we will have a lot of less display ads. I don't think we will have a lot of display ads. So so the idea, I just got one thing in mind. So probably while you are using the free content, right? So let's say you are using an article or you are seeing a video. So the ad can be a part of that video as well. The ad can be a part of that freemium model as well. So the user is doing a trade-off. User is wanting to see that free content, but then for that, if that user sees a 1 minute ad, I think it's a good trade-off.
Okay, wow, 1 minute ad. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
I was a bit more with the 1 minute, I think. So
no. I'm trying to process it in. So it's not a reaction. The way I'm trying to process it is, I think YouTube Premium is $199 per month. Am I right?
Yes.
Somebody help me with that.
Yes.
Now I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. She watches those YouTube videos, and the problem is sometimes between the videos, those Coco Melon and Choo Choo TV, and obviously all of you are very young to worry about all of that. But the challenge becomes, some of the ads you can't skip.
Yeah.
And you have to wait 30-40 seconds, 1 minute, and it just like she blows up right now. So often I have thought about buying YouTube Premium, right? But the biggest challenge I've tried to figure out with YouTube is, I don't perceive YouTube to be an OTT provider.
Right.
I will pay 200 rupees for Hotstar.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Because it is content. The problem is I don't see YouTube to be content, because YouTube for me is a library, right? And so I'm trying to, that's why I got lost for a second. I was trying to do, and maybe I think it's a good point for us to consider. I think as a team, I think it's a very wonderful point. I think Team Radio had to spot up. One final question, since we are talking money, right? Is you all had I think if I'm not mistaken, at the expanded Excel, or the table, a 1% conversion rate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think two parts to the question. How did you arrive at 1%? And
Okay. So
are you, sorry, the second part of the question is,
yeah.
you think that is satisfactory enough?
Okay, so the basis of this 1% was because we don't have a subscription model yet. We have individual services, we buy individual services. So
Mm-hmm.
first of all, for people to actually get used to this subscription model, one thing is which is very required is the app to be known to people. The app has to be known to people. So for that, we made an assumption of, let's say, a very pessimistic assumption ki the total out of the total users, just 1% of the users are subscribing, and based on that, we have done up projections. That is the
Also,
only
sir,
reason.
if we look at the ARPU is almost 6,000 rupees per user, which is, to be very honest, quite a sum, at least for a MBA student or for any student who accesses it. So I feel the revenue or the revenue per user in the subscription model, at least if I were to speak about the hindrances of what we have drawn up, because what we have drawn up is full with drawbacks. Definitely, there are many drawbacks. Is that the money, the average revenue per user of 6,000 becomes an impediment in their mind. So even if sometimes users are motivated, they look at the figure and they're like, no, let it be. I'll find some alternative for myself. I'll figure my way out. So they're going to rationalize with themselves and they're not going to end up buying it. That's taken a very, very conservative estimate in terms of 1%. But again, that is contingent upon the fact that we said that we'll be having 1 million new trials. So on the basis of that, we have also considered factored in 1%. Now, if in reality, to be very honest, sir, in reality, scaling up to 1 million users in a year might be prove to be a little difficult, a little tedious, right? So in that case, probably a higher conversion rate, which can come about by, let's say, better quality or better value of our products, better word of mouth, better awareness in the market, would probably be the goal. 1% is definitely not the goal. To answer the second part of your question, it's not enough, at least in if we could consider it in practical terms.
One final question. I had this written. Do you believe the ARPU at 6,000 is really low? Because just to put it into perspective, if you look at Upgrad or all the other sort of edtech players in the higher education space, higher education profession, education space, which where we are, or it's also called continued learning, their average paid customer ACV, which is average customer value, is easily 40,000, 50,000, even higher. I know they're doing certifications and all that, but with that in mind, do you believe that maybe 6,000 is less, or maybe then 6,000 is a very different sort of audience we are going for?
So frankly speaking, to be very honest, yes, sir. In that perspective, perhaps if you just in quantitative terms, perhaps it is quite less. Sir. Perhaps 6,000 is quite less compared to 40,000. But if you look at it, sir, MBA Track is still on the way to build itself up. It's still on the way to offer, let's say, value-oriented products to a group of money, are thrifty with their money. So in that situation, sir, 6,000 for me personally, and I think it will go with from all my 3 team members. Two of us, one is from a business family, one has worked himself, and one also comes from a working family. Shelling out 6,000 rupees is still going to be very difficult proposition for our first time users. And considering in the first year, most of our users are going to be first time users with, let's say, a relatively low awareness compared to Upgrad or others. Perhaps 6,000 in that scenario is a little more, but in quantitative terms, it looks, but 40,000 is definitely the target for MBA Track. Someday it's going to happen. Sir.
Okay, so there's this another consideration, I think, which we all missed. That is, what are we giving as benefits for that subscription? So that is up to us, right? So that is what we have not mentioned. So what are the benefits which you are giving for that subscription amount of 6,000? So that is something which we can play around with to actually justify the 6,000.
And so I just wanted to add one more point to that of Shaumadeep. One more factor that compels the users of, say, maybe Upgrad or any such platforms to pay a higher amount is also the brand value that's associated to their certificates. With the companies or organizations from, say, these world's prestigious organizations coming in with the certifications, people value that brand on their certificates, which is also a factor that they are willing to pay such huge amounts of money for.
So what he's trying to say is that today if I'm paying for a Coursera course, I'm not paying because Coursera is offering, I'm not paying 2,000 per course or 3,000 per course because Coursera is offering to me. I'm taking that Excel course because the name Macquarie University or University of Virginia is associated with it. So that's an important consideration too, I believe, when we're considering the RP.
Sure. Good. I think, yeah, I think done from my, I'm sorry, I'm looking down into my questions. Yeah, I'm good. Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Ayushi, I think we are also done.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions that you have, Team Radioactive from your end?
I had one question for Abhishek, sir. So in the introduction round, you mentioned that maybe 35 was rather a late age for you to start your business. Being someone who was myself, I'm like very much eager to have a business of my own. I just want to know why would you feel that?
So let me rationalize it in two ways. I think I had a lot more energy when I was 25. So I think there is a physical element to it. I think also, they say ignorance is bliss. So I think being a little raw helps. You tend to be more aggressive, more risk taking. It's not that I'm less risk taking right now. The problem is I'm more logical, which doesn't help always. And you sometimes you need entrepreneurs to be very bull-headed, right? Some people can carry it across time. Most people lose it because of age or experience, just life experience. It has nothing to do with work experience, actually, right? I think the third thing is just purely financial, right? I now pay 3 loans at a time. I have 2 car loans and 1 house loan, right? When you decide to be an entrepreneur, and now I have a child, my wife works thankfully, and she made almost the same salary as I did, so I could make the decision. Yes, but then um, you have to either save that much, and then basically see it get consumed pretty rapidly over 1.5 2 years, until either you get funded or something, which is something we're looking for, or not even that. I mean, it just basically um, uh, it takes a while as an entrepreneur from a regular cash flow perspective to get back to your original salary, right? So now the difference is when you're 36 or 37, it could take up to 5 years before you even get to the similar salary that you were at, theoretically. But if you're 25, it probably not even take a year. And if your company turns cash flow positive, which it did for my case, but realistically, I only got to 1/3 of my salary, because the reality is I can't take more money from the company purely because it has to be employed to people like them, like the Ayush, to systems, to processes. The money has to go somewhere else. I can't be, because if it's going into my pocket, then it's like running a kirana shop.
Yeah.
Right. So that becomes the challenge. Not to say that you can't start up. You can start up at any age you want, honestly. But I just think where we are as a country, as young people who are coming through the system, the education system and all that, I think there is a lot you can do and start early. Also, you can fail more, right? Uh, to fail, I can still fail, but I can't fail like 2 or 3 times in a row. Like somewhere down the line, either I will only take the call before my family may support me, my friends will support me. I'll say like, okay, let me go back to normal corporate desk job. That's fine. Like I have to, like, I have a wife, a kid, I need to manage a house, this, that. So a lot of things get into your head. But I think when you're 25, you can fail as many times as you can. It really doesn't matter. Right? I mean, the worst thing is what? You have an education loan. Trust me, yeah, you get full tax benefit for it. Like, what are you crying about? You don't even get full tax benefit for a house loan. You get nothing for a car loan. And you're a generation which is not going to buy a car. Like, let's be honest. Most of you are not going to buy it. Almost makes no sense. Except like very rare cases will you buy one. You'll probably buy 2 cars in your entire generation lifetime, honestly. Because you don't need it, right? You'll mostly be in Ubers or something or whatever and all that. Right? Or you may be renting and all that. So I think that's my only consideration around that. I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Actually, a lot of sense, sir.
Yes.
Because I can see my own father and I can relate your story to his own story.
The only problem is this is why life is very sad. The dad 15 years later, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, even you join the dots backward, that
Yeah,
also
yeah.
makes sense.
That's the only problem. It makes sense when you look back. It doesn't make sense when you look forward. So you can sound very smart and intelligent, but the reality is I sat there just like you and made a lot of mistakes in life. So that's okay. Right.
So I wanted to answer the question that you had asked us for the end.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. So let me repeat that question again. If I had, gosh, I've actually forgotten. Do you remember the question then?
if I remember it correctly, the question was, how will we manage the demand being consistent throughout?
Yes,
Like what?
yes. How do you peter out the demand so that it becomes linear through the year, and we eliminate the standard placement cyclicity? Yeah.
I could just think of one factor that the company can play upon. News is something that every professional would require to consume, be it a student or say a person who's working already. And the way people consume content has changed lately, wherein people have started preferring summarized contents and rather not the detailed ones as much. One way we can make sure that the consumers are hooked on to the application and we have a constant demand is by providing uh, these news in a better summarized manner for them to understand. Just one example that I can think of right now is FinShots. They have good content summarized in a very comprehensive manner along with graphics, which makes them a preferable uh, platform for news for most of the people right now. So that's something that the company can play on to ensure some extent of what do you say, consistency in the demand.
Also, sir, I think one more thing that can be done, that can be leveraged by two more things that can be leveraged by MBA Trek, which wants to help people with their career specifically and not with respect to an exam like CAT, MAT, XAT, or anything like that, is the fact that it has to reduce its dependence on, let's say, students per se and rope in more young professionals. And secondly, what I feel is there are a lot of insights in the education market or in the job market which the common man is missing. If I were to give you an example, sir, the common perception till for me personally was that IITs are all about their BTech. It's for engineers altogether, right? But recently, a friend of mine, she's writing her graphic designing exams, and IIT Bombay has this exam called the CEED exam, which is for industrial design and graphic design, right? So these things, that the fact that even an art student can actually sit for an IIT JEE exam, right? IIT exam or a design exam, which will be taught at IIT Bombay. These raw insights, which I'm sure will change the course of many careers, right? If today, let's say that friend wouldn't have had that kind of insight, she would have probably gone into an MBA or tried to go abroad and shelled out a lot of money. But these insights, taking people by the hand, taking young professionals by the hand and telling them, look, you have this option, you always have a choice. If MBA Trek can leverage that kind of insight through thorough research, I think the placement cyclicity can be done, because this can also be a very nice generation of revenue all year round, or recruitment of users all year round.
So I think you are on
So you're
mute.
on.
The team's smiling because I think we've talked about a lot of this, especially with our industry and company analysis. That's something we've always talked about a lot. So I think we're doing a little bit on social media, but obviously it has to come through in a very compelling customer journey. No, fair, good. Yeah, I think good discussion. Thank you so much. I think it was a really nice in-depth presentation. Really appreciate your efforts. I think there's a lot of this that we can actually build into the business, which is great, and which is wonderful, because I think we must consider ourselves very privileged that we are a company where our interns, our live project interns, and competition, folks are actually our real life users. So very few companies have that benefit, and I think we have that, and it's something that we are actually happy with. We're really uh, happy to have you come and present to us. So rather than the other way around. So wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. We've overshot the time quite a bit, I think. Ayush, I think we're good to go.
Yes, sir. I think it was a great time with, for both the teams, I believe, and great. Glad to, take this forward. I think Team Radioactive can now leave this presentation room, right? Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
Ayush
much,
sir,
sir.
Thank you.
Ayush
Take
ma'am.
care.
so
Take
much.
care, everybody.
Great, sir.